Welcome back to Let's Make a Game. We've been talking about inventory systems. In this video, I'm going to talk about the part that lets you drop and pick up and keep track of items. So let's have a look at the code. So we've done sort of down to here in terms of the code. We did all this code in the last video. So printing the inventory and printing the loose items is almost exactly the same with a few minor changes. So we have a HTML table. We have a temporary variable to keep track of the weight that the player character is currently carrying. The point of that is so that the computer knows whether the player can pick up any given item. In other words, whether it's too heavy to be added to the current weight. So within the HTML table, we have a for loop that goes through the $items array, looks at the location of each given item, and if that location is 0, that's a special location that means the player character is carrying it. So that's a thing that needs to be printed in the inventory if its location is 0. We print a heading the first time we print an item, and it just has item and weight in bold. We add the weight of the item to the current weight that is carried. And then we print the details of the item, which is to say a description of the item and its weight. Then we do another one of these things that we discussed in the last video, where we have a temporary variable and we write all this code into the temporary variable and then print the temporary variable rather than putting this straight into the code, because if we put it straight into the code, the value of some of the variables would be wrong because it's related to the for loop that we're doing. And of course, once the player clicks the button, we've gone through all the items and the value of Y is different to what we want it to be for any given item. So this button just allows us to drop an item, and dropping an item just means changing its location from 0 to wherever the player character currently is, which of course is stored in $location. Then we close off the table. It's possible that the player character has no items, so we just print "you have no items," simply because printing this heading inventory and then having nothing would look a bit weird. Then we do more or less exactly the same thing with loose items. The difference is mainly that we're not looking for the location of the item to be 0. We're looking for the location of the item to be $location. In other words, we're looking for items that are located in the same place that the player is located, but that they're not currently carrying. If that's the case, once again, we print a heading the first time it happens. We may print a button that allows the player to pick up the item. We may do that because the item might be too heavy. So we need to check whether the weight of the item plus the total weight that the player character already has is less than or equal to item_max, which is the maximum weight the player character can carry. If that's the case, then we again write this code into a temporary variable and print the temporary variable. The difference is that this time we're not setting the location of the item to be $location, which is what happens when you drop it. We're setting it to be 0, the special value that says it's in the character's inventory, in their backpack, as it were. If this is not the case, if the weight of the item plus the total weight carried goes over item underscore max, then it will say you are carrying too much to add this item. It offers an explanation for why there isn't a button to pick up the item. And once again, if we don't find any items to print in that HTML table, then we just say there are no loose items in the area, much as we would say you have no items if there's nothing in the inventory. And that is the system. It allows us to drop an item, go away from that location, come back, and the item will still be there. It doesn't sort of disappear, as it were. Makes for a consistent world, a consistent environment. So in my next video, I'm going to show you how we can make this look a lot better by using pictures instead of just a list of text. But I will leave it there for now. I hope that was useful or interesting to at least some of you, and I hope you will tune in next time.